Yeah. You mentioned the Jews that live in Judea and Samaria. Were you surprised that many of the Israel's right wing and many settlement leaders have voiced opposition to your plan, claiming that Israel should never create a Palestinian state?
No, to go back to your first question, we understand that Israeli society is very divided on this. I don't really have a sense of how many Israeli settler leaders are opposed to the plan. There are clearly one or two who are very vocal in the media. I think they, first of all, before anything, ought to be grateful to President Trump. I know they try to attack Jared Kushner. The things that President Trump and Jared have done, and together with the rest of the administration, Secretary Pompeo, my friend David Friedman, Ambassador David Friedman, and others, were incredible for the state of Israel. And to not acknowledge that and instead go on the attack, I think is really not appropriate. It's fine, of course, to disagree, and I understand their concern about a Palestinian state. But even that is a bit of an unfair criticism, because while we try to create a Palestinian state, every description in this very lengthy plan of how that state is supposed to operate should address all of the concerns that those who are opposed to it have. And if they don't, we've always said, or at least I've always said, share your concerns with us the same way we tell the Palestinians, so we could try to address them. I think we put forth a Palestinian state that does not endanger Israel's security. We were very careful to be clear, and this is one of the biggest fights, because the Palestinians and their allies believe that this is not a state. There's no sovereignty because Israel has overriding security control. That's critical to Israel's safety and security. We also gave Israel the ability to go back in. If they extend more and more abilities for the Palestinians to police their state, but then they fail. Either they fail because they can't do it properly, or they fail because some new leadership comes up and wants to abrogate the agreement, then the Israelis have the right to go back in and do what they need to do to protect their society without fear of the UN issuing all sorts of sanctions and condemnations for doing that. That is a critical component of the plan. If we didn't go far enough, I would love to hear from these settler leaders where we fell short and how we can improve it, instead of them criticizing it without explaining what the criticism is.